What if everything you thought you knew about Christmas was wrong? What if December 25th has nothing to do with when Jesus was actually born, and everything to do with a calculated decision to overwrite pagan worship? Hi, I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of history's most surprising revelations about the world's most celebrated holiday. If you're ready to discover the truth behind Christmas, hit that subscribe button and let's uncover what really happened. Here rests the shocking reality. Nowhere in the Bible does it tell us Jesus was born on December 25th. In fact, the Gospel accounts give us clues that point to a completely different time of year. Luke's Gospel tells us that when Jesus was born, shepherds were keeping watch over their flocks by night in the fields around Bethlehem. But here is what most people do and realize. Shepherds in ancient Palestine didn't keep their flocks in open fields during December. Winter in that region brings cold rains and harsh weather. Shepherds would have moved their flocks to shelter by late October or November at the latest. The timing clues get even more specific. Luke chapter 1 tells us that Zechariah, John the Baptist's father, was serving in the temple during the division of Abijah. Historical records show this occurred in late May or early June. Now, since Elizabeth conceived John shortly after Zechariah's temple service, and Mary conceived Jesus 6 months later, this places Jesus' birth sometime around September or October. So if Jesus wasn't born in December, how did December 25th become Christmas? Well, the answer takes us to ancient Rome and a strategic decision that would reshape religious history. December 25th was already one of the most important dates on the Roman calendar. It marked the festival of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. This was the birthday celebration of the sun god, timed perfectly with the winter solstice, when daylight begins to return to the northern hemisphere. For Romans, this wasn't just a religious observance. It was a massive cultural celebration that dominated the entire empire. Citizens would feast, exchange gifts, and celebrate the triumph of light over darkness. The symbolism was powerful, and the participation was universal. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. In 336 AD, roughly 3 centuries after Jesus' death, the Roman Emperor Constantine had recently legalized Christianity. The early church faced a monumental challenge. How do you convert an empire that is so deeply attached to its pagan festivals? The solution was brilliant in its simplicity. Rather than trying to eliminate the December 25th celebrations entirely, church leaders decided to transform them. They declared December 25th as the official celebration of Jesus' birth, effectively replacing the sun god's birthday with the Son of God's birthday. This wasn't an accident. Early church father John Chrysostom explicitly acknowledged this strategy. He wrote that the church chose December 25th because it was already a day when Romans were accustomed to celebrating the birth of a divine figure associated with light, conquering darkness. Think about it. The symbolism was perfect. Jesus called himself the light of the world. So what better way to capture pagan hearts than to present Christ as the true light that conquers darkness, replacing their sun god with the Son of God? The transformation worked beyond anyone's expectations. Within a few generations, December 25th had become so firmly established as Christmas that most Christians forgot it had ever been anything else. The pagan origins were buried beneath centuries of Christian tradition, but the evidence of those origins remains hidden in plain sight. Many Christmas traditions that seem purely Christian actually trace back to those ancient Roman festivals. The exchanging of gifts, the feasting, even the timing itself all echo the celebrations of Sol Invictus and another festival, Saturnalia. This all raises a profound question. Does knowing the true origins of December 25th diminish the meaning of Christmas? Here's what's remarkable about this historical reality. The early church's decision wasn't about deception. It was about redemption. They took a date dedicated to worshiping created light and transformed it into a celebration of the creator of light. They took a festival honoring a mythical sun god and used it to honor the real Son of God. The Apostle Paul wrote that he became all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some. The Church's adoption of December 25th reflects the same missionary wisdom. They met people where they were culturally and pointed them toward eternal truth. Whether Jesus was born in September, October, or any other month, the miracle of the Incarnation remains unchanged. God became flesh and dwelt among us. The exact date matters less than the eternal reality that heaven touched earth through a baby born in Bethlehem. Today, billions of people around the world celebrate Christmas on December 25th, and there's nothing wrong with that. The date may have pagan origins, but the meaning has been completely transformed. Every Christmas celebration declares that light conquers darkness, that hope defeats despair, and that God's love reaches into our broken world. The real lesson here isn't about when to celebrate Christmas. It's about how God can take anything, even pagan festivals, and use them for His glory. It's just about how the early church showed incredible wisdom in building bridges between cultures while never compromising the gospel message. So this Christmas, whether you celebrate on December 25th or choose to acknowledge the likely September birth of Jesus, remember that you're participating in a story much larger and more complex than most people realize. You re-part of a tradition that spans centuries and shows how faith can transform culture from the inside out. Thanks for watching. If you found this as fascinating as I do, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into history. See you next time.